Second house. Jupiter is the planet of wealth and abundance. Wherever it's in the horoscope, it shows the area in your life which you will flow with, which you will have natural talents with, which you will kind of have positive and optimistic attitude towards, and because of that, through the law of attraction, you tend to attract positive events there. And the first thing that the second house symbolizes is the house of wealth and finances. So people with Jupiter in the second house tend to be better than average with managing their resources and managing finances and amassing wealth, or kind of saving even money. The more better dignified Jupiter is, the better this wealth and financial abundance people can have. Jupiter feels great, for instance, in signs of fire and in the signs of water, but Jupiter does not give so much when it's in signs of earth or in signs of air, and you need to learn a little bit more astrology to know what it means. But for instance, Jupiter in Cancer will give abundance of ability to manage finances and to deal with financial abilities, a very high level of knowledge in those kind of areas. While Jupiter in Capricorn, where it's its weakest position, the person will still have knowledge and consider themselves knowledgeable when it comes to resources and finances, but actually the choices that they make, the decisions, financial decisions that they make, will not be always so wise, and it will give them a lesser amount of the right resources that they need to. They might go after resources and amass resources that actually are not productive or useful for them. So the better dignity of Jupiter, the better quality of resources and material objects that you have around. But on general, people who have Jupiter in the second house tend not to have troubles with finances in life, unless there is a blocking planet there like Rahu, Ketu, or Saturn, which can block, or Jupiter or the Sun, which can actually block the influence of Jupiter to great extent or delay it somehow. So also Jupiter is the planet of knowledge. Wherever it's situated, the person tends to have wisdom there and knowledge and some inner kind of guidance systems about what is right to do in order to succeed there. So people with Jupiter in the second house tend to have financial knowledge, knowledge about material resources, knowledge about the fifth senses. The second house is a very material, practical, tangible house of the five senses. So for instance, such people might have knowledge about food, so they can have very good palate. They can have knowledgeable about music. They can be knowledgeable about culture as well. They can be knowledgeable about art, like pieces, objects of art, like maybe some objects of value as well. Anything which is of value, tangible, material. These people have good knowledge of, or maybe knowledge of wine, and they tend to be able to cash in on those on this knowledge of material resources and the five senses and the tangible things in life. So they can be very good financiers, very good business advisors, very good bankers as well, who can advise others how to manage, how to not only manage, how to wisely invest their finances, or how to open bank accounts, or how to create tangible things as well. They can also amass larger amount of resources. Maybe they can have stores of books, of knowledge. They can have stores of beautiful objects, and they then, they attract material things more easily because of their more positive attitude and their great love and appreciation towards these things. But at the same time, they can be very generous with material things that they possess, and they can give to others a lot. And because there is like a flow, easy flow of energy there, they receive and they give, and it keeps coming back to them. And the better dignified Jupiter is, the more they would receive. As I said, Jupiter in Earth or air signs would be a bit less than Jupiter in the fire and air sign. Also, second house is the house of the voice. So such people, some of them, like for instance Whitney Houston and Britney Spears, and all, they have Jupiter in the second house, and Christina Aguilera. I haven't checked everyone's singer's horoscope, but I know that they have Jupiter in the second house, which makes the voice more expansive. Wherever Jupiter is, it tends to expand on that organs and its ability, so they can raise their voice very high and very low, so they can have beautiful voice. And sometimes such people can even love the sound of their voice. They might love hearing themselves talk, and they might be almost like orators and enjoying the sound of what they're saying, and sharing their knowledge and their wisdom with others as well. But usually their wisdom tends to be a lot more on the material physical things. And as I said, they can be good food critics, or not even food critics, like food appreciators, and they can cash in through knowledge of as I said, of the five senses, anything which is to do with that. Also, the second house, let's see what it rules. It rules the family that you come from, and basically when Jupiter is there, it indicates that maybe you come from a richer family, or they gave you very good upbringing, a high quality upbringing, a good education as the legacy they left you, or very good moral values. Maybe your family had very high moral values. Unless Jupiter is in its weaker signs like Earth and Air signs, these moral values might later actually create a problem for the person in life somehow, or might not be so powerful as when Jupiter is in its stronger signs. And also a person tends to be upholder of traditional values, and tends to treasure those, and tends to, you know, to try and to keep up those traditions of their family and those moral values that they have learned from their family. Also, the second house, as counting houses from houses, is the 11th house from the 4th house. 4th house is property and land and vehicles, and the 11th house is the gains from those. So the second house becomes the 11th from the 4th, which means that such people also can have gains, financial gains from property, from vehicles, from lands, maybe even some inheritance that they come into in their life. And also, let's see, usually Jupiter signifies in females' charts the husband, because Jupiter is the planet of the wise teacher. So the husband is supposed to be the teacher of the woman, you know, to be the spiritual compass for the woman. So when women have Jupiter in the second house, it's likely that their husbands will come from wealthy families, or from good breed families, good stock, you know, from a good genetic material families as well, or families that have large resources available to them, or also, you know, that there is usually some financial benefit when it's, especially if Jupiter is in a good sign, as I said. Not so much when it's in its weaker signs, but again, it works. So I think we mentioned everything there. Also, Jupiter, second house, signifies the food that we eat, and when Jupiter is there, people are very open-minded for new, for different cultural foods, and you know, they tend to have a lot of knowledge about foods and rich food, but they have to be careful as well, because Jupiter is a very expansive planet, so it can make the people with Jupiter in the second house sometimes even overeat, or tend to take a little bit too much, you know, be a bit expansive in their approach to food, but actually it's very beneficial influence. So these people can eventually learn how to control this to some extent. So thank you very much.